Boy, it sure is nice to have a cleaned out backyard. I'm like halfway through demoing this thing. I just realized, probably a smart idea to support these 3 joists. Yes, I am using 2x3s because that's all I have around, but it's fine. Well, that didn't last very long. All right, we got it all torn out now, and the exterior white of brick is just floating. By the way, I'm saying wythe, W-Y-T-H-E. That's like a course of brick, and this is 2 wythes thick. The interior one has a bit of header remaining. The exterior one just floating. I don't know how it's staying there, but I'll take it. Down here, it's kind of weird that it looks like there was some type of wood thing that was like cast into the concrete for some reason. And then this actually looks like it could have been added later. Like it looks like this original thing ends here and then some stuff was added. So this is obviously not like a suitable base to add a sill plate and everything. So what I'm thinking is probably pouring like 4 inches of concrete to tie all this together and then do anchor bolts for my new sill plate. For the brick wall, this is the steel, by the way. It was $400 for 20 feet of this. So I got steel, 2 pieces of angle, 3 inch by 3 inch for there, and 2 pieces of angle over there, and a little bit of extra. This is probably overkill. It's 3/8 of an inch thick. It's plenty strong to take the load up here. Here's the order of operations I'm thinking. First, I need to clean up the edge of this brick wall and get it ready to weave in new bricks and get off all this kind of plaster and old mortar. Then I can start laying my bricks, and I need those new bricks because that's what's going to support the steel header. And then once that's up, I'll deal with getting the steel in, then concrete, then framing, then sheathing, then siding, then roof. It's kind of a fun project because it's like a little microcosm of a house. You know, you have every piece of a house. It's just very small. So it's a great learning opportunity here. Before I go any further cleaning up this brick, I think first I want to add in a temporary header. At least now I feel a lot safer walking under this. It's always nice to start with a little test fit to make sure things fit where I want them to fit, and also starting to choose which bricks go where. I realized I wanted to tie in the base here a little bit more, so we're going to remove another half brick for the tie-in. Past few hours, I've been preparing this side, basically just removing bricks every once in a while to like tooth in this new section to the old. Of course, you wouldn't want this to just be flat and then have like one single course of brick coming up because it wouldn't be tied into the rest of this wall. So this wall is pretty much ready to go. I'm going to start the brickwork tomorrow, and I have a bit more work on this wall where basically at the laser I want to chop off any of these bricks that are sticking out too far, and then I can start the tooth-in process just like the other side. You can tell by the bad workmanship and by kind of the color and the feel of this mortar. This is a Portland cement mortar that was used for a patch at some point. This brick here too. And the rest of it is a lime-based. And I actually got the lime-based mortar now to work with the old bricks. That's how you're supposed to do it. Another thing to note here, which is also kind of crazy, In this cavity was wood that entirely just disintegrated, and I pulled it out. So basically, like, this whole interior withe is sitting on nothing at all, right? And I'm not seeing, it's hard to tell with the plaster on, but I'm not seeing many bricks running horizontally connecting both withes. Kind of seems like it's just the strength of the mortar between the bricks that's holding this whole face of the brick wall up, which is definitely kind of scary. On this side too, there's just nothing there. Again, this is just a great example of how old houses just seem to want to stay standing. It makes me really want to get that filled in as soon as possible, because who knows how long it has. So I finally got some proper lime mortar, which, quick crash course, there's the Portland cement mortar, which is modern and it's really hard and it's meant for new bricks. And these old bricks have lime mortar, which is softer. General idea is that the mortar should be softer than the brick, so if there is stress, the mortar will crack, not the brick, and the mortar is easier to repoint. And I realize why people don't often do it right. It's because this was like 60, 70 bucks, and then to ship it brings it up to like $100, and you can go grab a bag of mortar from Home Depot, the Portland cement, for $5. So it's like many orders of magnitude more expensive. In the building science community, people say like Portland cement will just ruin these old bricks, but there was Portland cement up here in a patch and probably 30 years old, and the bricks weren't cracked, they weren't laid well. I don't know, I have my doubts on if it's worth going with this expensive historic mortar. With the lime, the other thing I learned is that it's not just ready to go. You need to activate the lime with, like, I think friction, just by moving it around. You can do that by hand, or better is by power tool here. We're gonna start down here. Moving right along here, going pretty well. It's not perfect, but it's not going to be exposed, so I'm not super critical about it. The angle grinder has been really nice to make some fine cuts. Sometimes a brick just needs to be a little bit shorter, or half bricks, or whatever it might be. This light rain is also pretty nice because it just keeps everything moist. Kind of does part of the job for me. Lunchtime, but I am fresh out of mortar. I got like 2/3 of the way through the right side. I need a lot more for the left side and some for the patches above. We also got all this filled in, of course. Hard to see, but we got some cut down bricks in there. I am pretty happy with how this is turning out. So happy actually that I might want to expose a little bit of this, like fur out this wall, stop it here, have a little bit of the corner of the brick, and then this coffee bar kind of opening here. The counter will, I think, come past the brick a little bit, and then kind of on the counter, you'll see a little brick there, and then there will be kind of an inch reveal to the drywall set back there. So it's coming along nice. While I was doing this masonry work, the HVAC guys were here finishing up most of their work. They got these big ducts in the basement. So now most of the ducts are done, ready for our initial inspection, and we'll get our equipment later down the line. With no more mortar to work with, I spent the rest of the day just cleaning up this left side of the brick, removing bricks where I had to, and just getting it ready for when the mortar comes. Editing Chris here, just stopping by for a quick announcement. If you're looking for some behind the scenes content, I just put out a video on my Patreon walking through my current sketchbook and talking about some projects that led up to buying the house, and also looking at some of my design sketches for the house itself. This is the first video that I've put up on Patreon. You can also find the architectural and engineering drawing sets for the project there. But I want to get more active there, and I would love to hear your suggestions on what type of behind the scenes or additional content you might be interested in. You can find the link to my Patreon in the description below. It's at Chris Haitha. And if you don't have the means to support me on Patreon, just leaving a like and subscribing to the channel helps a ton. So with that, let's get back to laying some bricks, shall we? Good morning, happy Friday. Well, Friday for me at least. And the good news is we have this ready to go to complete the masonry and put in the, I called it a header before, but I think it's actually a lintel, steel lintel. And I ordered the mortar, but it is not here yet. And that's the downside of using this specialty mortar. So today I just spent the morning cleaning up. HVAC is nearly done. All the ducts are in the basement. All the ductwork everywhere is done. We just have some bathroom fans and stuff to do. The next order of business here is to reframe this section up here. After a lot of thought, I'm pretty serious about eventually turning this whole wall into windows essentially, and a big transom up here. We've talked about this before, but the ceiling is kind of supported by this wall, so it might be hard to take these studs out later. I already put up a bunch of metal strapping, which holds the ceiling up to the roof structure, which honestly might be enough. It's a pretty small load of just drywall, but you know, I want to make sure it's right. And this brings up a question that I've been thinking about for so long. So there's a lot of things that I want to do in the future that I don't want to do right away for a lot of reasons, but mainly because I want to take my time with this stuff, and I don't want this to limit my ability to move into the house, because to move in, I'm gonna need to pass all my inspections and have everything finished. Which means the quick, easy way is to just throw drywall up, deal with it later. But the big question is how temporary I make things. For instance, these doors, maybe when I do this whole glass thing, I'm gonna wanna redo these doors or make them match. So right now, I could spend $400 and get a door with a big light of glass, but then that might just end up being trash later. Or I could just do the cheapest pre-hung door, make it super easy to put it in there, and make it so I hate it, which will actually incentivize me to get to this project later. And I think I lean towards making it awful to start. I despise the cheap hollow core pre-hung doors, but I think they're a necessary evil in this case to just get the thing up, pass my inspections, move in, and then I have the next 10 years to work on all these details and have fun with it. What tools do you need for a small framing job like this? Big level, small level, hammer, tape measure, sawzall, metal blade, cut the nails, circular saw, multi-tool, and round it all off with a nail gun, which I was borrowing my friend's DeWalt nail gun and got used to it and loved it, but he needed it back, so bought my own. Wow, check it out. Well, it doesn't seem to be working. Oh, there we go. No? Whoa, cool. Step number one, we're gonna cut out all these studs and should be able to reuse them. One tool I forgot to mention, crowbar. This last piece has been really putting up a fight, but I think we got it. Finally. Now it's on to step 2. We're gonna put in a double 2x6, and because this was 2x4s flat, 3.5 inches, so it'll be 2 vertical 2x6s with a piece of 1/2 inch plywood. And then we gotta just hammer it up there, get it level, nail it in, and then fill out the studs below. Ready to get this in, and I was tempted to do both 2x6s and the plywood at the same time, but it's just me, so it's probably good to minimize the weight so it's easier to get this in place. I pre-drilled a couple screws up here so I can screw in one side and then get it level. Beautiful fit. I'm just gonna flush it up with the bottom of these. Using those screws to hold it in temporarily before I nail also helps kind of suck the beam I just put in towards the stud, which hopefully will make it easier to fit this next 2x6 in here. I'm not really sure though. Not really sure if it's gonna fit. It's gonna be tight. Wow, look at that. All right, well, don't have the screw gun up here, so I'm just gonna have to hope that stays, or else it's gonna be trouble. Maybe go right for the nails here. There we go. I'm embarrassed to say I don't have a single 2x4 available, and I need one. And speed squares are pretty handy. They have a little mark here at 3.5. You just slide it along. Out of battery. Where were we? Another thing to mention, I currently don't have a truck or a car, so I can't just run out and get a 2x4. I would need to have a whole material delivery, and it would take a couple days, so not an option. Yeah, I'm happy to see that you didn't have to notch this joist up here. Our shower landed like
perfectly.
Yeah. You didn't have to notch it all?
Not at all. Offset flange worked perfectly. So the only thing I had to notch upstairs, which is a little bit more of the 2x4, just a higher, not more in, not more depth, but just higher, so like that it can sit in, because this drain in particular was a little bit higher than the first one you had.
Solved the problem, nice.
Yeah, it solved the problem. It came out nice and clean and no issues. Thanks God.
That's all for this week. I was hoping the mortar would come sooner. Plumbers are working. The mortar is coming later today, but a little bit too late. Next week we'll have it all. We'll finish this up. We'll add the steel and maybe start on the concrete and the framing over here. Pretty light week, but it's nice to just chip away at these little projects. Well, HVAC is wrapping up, plumbing's wrapping up. Yeah, moving forward. Thanks for watching.